Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea, and it's a special edition of Single Best Idea. There's no other way to put it. When Ed Hyman walks in the door for a generous half-hour conversation, he touches upon a lot of points. I want to explain the why here. Part of so much of what we do at Bloomberg Surveillance and before that at Bloomberg on the Economy is actually trying to understand, who is this guy? It's like Butch Cassidy. Who is this guy? Who is this woman? And the guests are different. Ed Hyman was at C.J. Lawrence before Ed Yardeni, both of them world-class economists. And Ed Hyman codified what I call chart paragraph, chart paragraph, chart paragraph. There's a chart, and then a quick paragraph, and then another chart. That's the entire report. There's not a lot of discussion going on here. It's a lot of pictures that tell a story. And all of that came out of the technical work of one Alan Greenspan years ago, which is look at the data. And it's not a small idea that the leading chart in Ed's latest note was a trucker's survey. Falling off a cliff is too negative, but it's diminished. It's slowing down. And, of course, that folds into what the Fed will do. Ed Hyman on the Fed.
I think the Fed has been doing a pretty good job, and I'm generally critical of the Fed.
Okay.
But either by luck or by skill, they have the path set now for cutting rates. Mm-hmm. And we got claims this morning.
Right in line.
So low it makes me have a headache.
Yeah.
And so they got different mandates. So I don't necessarily think they should have. We'll know better the answer to that question. I do think that they were way off on raising rates.
Ed Hyman there on Jerome Powell and what the Fed will do for it. He clearly indicated he needs to see data to get to 50 basis point cut. That's out there. Anna Wong, Bloomberg Economics, said the difficulties in the labor economy shown yesterday in the data doesn't tilt to 50 basis points, but she says it's part of the discussion, to say the least. Ed Hyman, for years, this is way before Evercore took out ISI, Ed Hyman's ISI, he's really stayed away from the politics of the moment. He doesn't put on an obligatory political discussion at the end. It's a very rare thing. Here he is, Ed Hyman, on an election in November.
It's a dance, and Evercore has its roots in the very democratic group of people as founders.
With Roger Altman and the
Roger Altman and Ralph Schlosstein.
Yeah.
And they're terrific. And so I have to be a little careful as a Republican. You're not. It's their firm, and I don't want to get in the way. But as we all know, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
And so it's too early to try and figure out the economic implications.
Not too early to listen to the debate. We'll do that across Bloomberg, the ABC debate in Philadelphia, and we're thrilled that David Gura will lead our coverage for the debate on September 10th. What day is that? Is that Tuesday? Tuesday, September 10th. Your head's spinning. This time of year, you need how much for school supplies? That's the major question going on right now. Finally, with Ed Hyman, I asked him a delicate question, and that is the debate on unrealized gains. Let me explain this quickly. You buy Apple, and it goes up, and you owned it for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, whatever, and you have a huge profit and you don't want to sell. You just carry the gain forward until you sell, or death, or whatever. Some out there want to tax the gain along the way, even if you don't sell the Apple shares. This is new. Ed Hyman.
Well, I think it harms everybody.
Why?
Because it hurts the whole capitalistic system. And so, that's one of the things that I would find the most discouraging. It also is impossible to administer. So I don't think that's going to make it. But it definitely is low on my
So broadly
list
defined,
of things that'd be good.
Ed Hyman there on this idea of taxing gains that have not been taken. The only thing I'll editorialize there is just sort of gut feeling, and I don't want to get into the politics of it, but if they do tax unrealized capital gains, I think you can rename the document the Accountant Employment Act of 2000, whatever. That's sort of where I would go on that. Jobs Day tomorrow. We'll go beneath the headline date at 8:30. Let me go through our distribution. We are thunderstruck by the August numbers. Granted, we had a small affair early in the month in the stock market, which helped out. But thank you so much for your support across Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, on YouTube. Subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts. Let me say that one more time. There has been confusion. Subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts out on YouTube. And, of course, driving across this nation on Apple CarPlay, on Android Auto. In Washington, 99.1 FM. In New York City, foundational, Bloomberg 1130 AM. And in Boston, 92.9 FM. On Apple Podcasts, this is Single Best Idea.